From Bella Vista Community Television, The City with Damon Wallace. The City with Damon Wallace, a program exploring the happenings in Bella Vista and our surrounding. And now, here's Damon.
Okay, and welcome to the city. I'm Damon Wallace, your host, and we're here today with Alderman Jim Wozniak. Good to have you with us, Jim.
Thank you, sir.
And Jim is on the Bella Vista City Council, and we've had some very interesting couple of weeks behind us now. The big Super Tuesday push is over,
Yep.
and but there were some issues that had directly affected Bella Vista that were on the ballot that the Bella Vista community was able to vote on.
Right.
One of those was a bond issue.
Yeah, first time ever.
First ever bond issue. So tell us a little bit about what that bond is going to go for, because it did pass.
Yeah, it passed. You know, there was two separate items to vote on. It was the public safety side, the cops, and then it was the firemen. It was easier, they said, the people who were sponsoring it or helping us with it, separate those two out, make it two separate issues so that people knew exactly what they were doing and give them a choice. You vote one up or one down, whatever, and they voted them both up. So what happens now is they will do some more paperwork. In a couple of months, the state will start collecting taxes. The money from that tax will go into a separate fund at the state, and then from there it'll go to the bond company, and then the bond company will pay the bills. The city will never touch that money, and the city can't use it for anything else except for what was on the bond issue. So someone can't come down the road and say, well, we gave you all this money and you didn't spend it where you said you were going to. City never touches it. So it goes from, of course, your pocket to the state, to the bond people, to the construction guys.
Okay, so what were those bonds to cover specifically?
Okay, the one of them was for the new police station out by the street department. And of course, I was police chief for a while. That'll be the fifth different building that the police will have. And it's pretty pricey. It's in the $13 million range. But considering what they've got and what they need, and when you build it right, you build it for like 20, 30 years out. So there'll be some empty space early on, but they will eventually fill it. And then, of course, the other monies is for the new police station out at the Highlands, across the street from where Station 3 is now. Where Station 3 currently is, can't make it any bigger. So it's literally coming down. We bought some ground from Cooper across the street, across from Branchwood, on the corner there, so they're going to build it there. And then they're going to build a training facility. And the training facility will be off Chelsea Road, back off of Tudor Drive, which is way back. If you know where that is, it's like an old gravel pit. It's going to be way back in there. So people worry about noise and everything else. Well, there's not going to be any noise to speak of because they're going to train during the day. So that won't be a problem. And then if the bonds get paid off early, say the money comes in quicker or we don't spend as much as we say, then they will stop right then. They won't keep going until we get the 18 million we're asking for, and they don't think we'll end up that far anyhow, because when you look at all the paperwork, there's a whole lot of contingencies and stuff in there that if you pay it off quicker, those won't have, they won't come into play. So there's a good chance, even though we looked at like 20 years, there's a good chance 10 or 12, 13 years it could be paid off and it's over. It's just done.
And that actually saves taxpayers on the interest that would be accruing on those bonds, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Plus, they're tax-free. If you want to get in and buy into some of that, those are going to be tax-free bonds.
Oh, okay.
So if somebody wanted to get in on that, tax-free, guaranteed kind of thing, that'd be a pretty good deal for somebody that wanted to invest.
Okay. So many people may have questions about what's the difference between passing a bond versus passing a tax.
Yeah. As far as I look at it, it's pretty much the same. Just one is a loan backed by a tax, and the other one is a tax for operations. It's a little more convoluted than that because of all the fees and legalese involved, but that's pretty much what it is. You're putting up a sales tax against a bond, so it's just like a loan backed by a sales tax.
Okay. And now when we talk
that's about as simple as you can make it, I think.
Yeah. So when we talk about some taxes, we're actually going to be seeing another one on the November ballot for the state of Arkansas.
Right.
And it's the half-cent sales tax that the voters approved 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was a 10-year tax, half-cent sales tax on gasoline. It's been it was a 10-year deal. It's been in effect for 8. It expires in 2 years. What the state wants to do is they want to put it back on the ballot and extend it indefinitely. They figure, well, we're already paying it. A lot of people don't even realize they're paying it, but it's there. And the city gets money back from that. In the first 8 years of this half-cent sales tax, the city has gotten over $400,000 a year earmarked for roads. It's the only thing it can be used on. And it comes routinely 40-some thousand a month, and it's got to go right into the street, development fund. So that's been $400,000 for 8 years. We've got 2 more coming. If we extend it, they've got projected with census numbers and stuff, that if it gets projected and passed, the city will then get $600,000 a year going straight into the road fund. And if you look at our current road repair fund, is about $1 million a year. It varies a little bit. You turn around and put 400,000 or 600,000 back in there, that's quite a few more roads we can fix. We've got 500 and some odd miles of roads out here. There's no way you can keep up at 30 or 40 or 50 miles a year. Yeah. So we keep putting more money in there. That's that many more roads we can do. As the roads go bad in certain areas, like all the Highlands blacktop, costs more to put blacktop back than it does to chip and seal on an older road on the east side. So it's, it's already out there. Hardly anybody realizes it. If we keep it going, that's, $600,000 a year for end of time.
Okay. And so when we talk about the bonds and stuff for the city, you were telling me that not all the time does the city have to go for a bond issue.
Right.
There's actually some short-term financing that they can do on their own.
Right, yeah. The state passed a law a couple of years back, maybe 5 or 6 now, where you can go get short-term loans for up to 5 years and don't have to go through the bond issue, to get it that way. And you're limited to X number of dollars for 5 years. Now, you can refinance if you need to, but there are other ways to get smaller amounts of money without having to go through the bond thing. Because the bond thing, it takes a vote. You've got to get all these things behind you. You got all these contingencies. A lot of money goes just for fees and stuff. So this is a way for smaller cities to get other things. We bought fire trucks that way. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot quicker.
Now, the switching gears just a little, we're talking about the tunnels that we've seen being put up. We got 2 of them on Lancashire now. They're still finishing up the one.
Yep.
They put one on Forest Hills Boulevard. So what's going on with all the tunnel system right now?
Well, they started out with 11, and then they ran into some problems. A couple places they ran into fiber optic cable or places where it just wouldn't fit. So they're down to 9, and that may change again. But the tunnels are all part of the Trailblazers trail system. So they're all paying for it that way. They just need approval from the state to do it. So, they're finishing up. They just did the one between the dams. They're finishing up the one near Camden. And there's, 5 or 6 more to come. There's already a couple out there that are operating. So when they get them done, then they'll be all set. But we have to get permission to go underneath the highway, of course. But the highway's not paying for it. The city's not paying for it. It's all part of that Walmart Foundation grant.
Okay. So who is ultimately going to be responsible for maintaining?
Well, initially, the Trailblazers said that they would help us out for about 3 years. And of course, the first part, we've already got 1.5 years in, so it'll go on. But after that, it'll be a split deal between the city and the POA.
Okay.
And we know that up front. Hopefully, the Trailblazers will keep helping, because you're looking at, when it's all done, somewhere near 150 miles. That's an awful lot of stuff to maintain. So hopefully when it's all done, they'll still volunteer to do parts of it. But it could get pricey real quick.
Now, there's a lot of people who come to Bella Vista now for the biking trails, kind of like going to Colorado for kayaking on the whitewater. So are we seeing a lot of visitors coming to Bella Vista, or is there any way to really monitor that?
At this point, the only time we can really monitor is when they have an event. And when they have an event, they bring in hundreds of people, and they're from all over. But as far as how much they're spending, we really don't have a handle on that. Plus the fact that we can't say they're staying in a hotel here because we don't have one, and we don't have that many restaurants. Now I've heard from the POA that they've sold a number of membership lots and stuff like that, so that helps, get people in. So they're clearing up their inventory. But as far as anybody having a real handle on it, it's just a guess. When they finish and maybe have more events, we ever get a hotel built or something like that there, or more commercial stuff, I'm sure we'll be able to track it a little better. But currently, there's only like the 2 events. And they come in, we don't know where they stay. I'm sure some stay at the campground. Some probably stay at those little apartments that they built up on Kingsland and Lambeth. But we really don't have a big handle on it.
Okay.
Just that there are people here, a lot of them from different places. So we're getting a lot of look-sees. So who knows what will happen down the road.
True. We're also seeing a lot of home building going on. I know that was one of the mayor's big pushes back when he first was elected, when he first got into office, was to make it easier for home builders to come into Bella Vista and build.
Yeah.
And of course, with the economy growing, there's a lot of homes going up.
Yeah, there are. And a lot of that is because, it's just a nice place to live. We're still pretty quiet kind of stuff. We don't have a lot of stuff going on. We're still really safe.
Yes.
Some of it is also because you can't afford to build in Bentonville. You look around and they got lots for sale you can't afford. You go out in the subdivisions and, they're pricey. So some of that is we get, coming off of that, which is fine. But if it's going to help us grow, that's great. And of course, I was here during the big boom, and we're doing somewhere around 300 a year. I can remember a couple years running when we did over 700 new housing permits a year.
Oh, wow.
So it's coming. But yeah, it's a good thing. Get more people out here. But some of it is ours because it's a nice place, and some of it is overload from Bentonville.
Okay. Shift gears again. There's some legislation before the city council about IDing or putting chips in the dogs.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that program.
Okay, that's something that when you pass an ordinance, you read it 3 times unless you suspend the rules kind of thing. So we just read it for the first time. And what it is, instead of getting a dog license every year, which would cost you $10 and a trip to City Hall, you get a dog now, you get it from the shelter, they're going to chip it. You get it from a breeder, they're going to chip it. You get it from a pet store, they're going to chip it. Okay? So what we're wanting to do is pass an ordinance that you get your dog chipped any place, or you've already got him chipped, okay? And then you register that paperwork with the shelter and our animal control so that if we do find your dog, we can get him back quicker. And if he's already chipped, well, then it's going to be a free deal. If he's not already chipped, the shelter will chip your dog for $20. So you pay $20 one time and never have to go back every year and pay $10 for a tag because he'll be chipped and it'll be cool. Now, the animal control lady came to the last city council meeting and she told us all the dogs she picks up. And of course, it's mandatory because there's an ordinance you're supposed to get your dog license, but it's still voluntary. And she said that the number of people who have dogs that run, the numbers that she picks up with tags are one thing, the numbers she picks up are quite a bit better. But if you're comparing it, relatively speaking, hardly anybody's buying a $10 tag because you don't get hurt till you get caught. And the first time you get a pass, and the second time anywhere from $50 to $100. So people take a chance. With this chip thing, it's a one-time thing, pretty much guaranteed to get your dog back, quickly, opposed to what's trying to find you. So, and for $20, the shelter will do it. It's really a pretty good deal. You do it once and you're done.
Okay.
Never have to go back every year or anything.
Okay, kind of a final topic. Census 2020 is coming up, and it's going to be important for Bella Vistans to fill out that paperwork and send it in. Yeah,
because a lot of our sales tax money, a lot of our turnback money from the state is based on population. We're currently working off of, when we counted last time, somewhere in the 26. We're hoping to be in the 30s now. So that extra $4,000 will mean that many more dollars coming back to us on turnback funds. And that new number that they'll get lasts for 10 years. So if we miss people for whatever silly reason they may have, that's going to cost the city somewhere down the road. So it's important, even though it's just Bella Vista, that you get your paperwork, you send it off, you send it back, because it's going to affect us for 10 years. So, and if, like we did when we first incorporated, the number was 16,000, and we knew that wasn't right. So we paid special for a census, which is expensive. But what you do when you do it that way is you determine how many folks you think you got, how many you know you got, and you figure how much that's going to cost me, and then you offset that for the cost of the census to how long you're going to get the extra money. So then it worked out, because we're talking almost 9,000 people difference. This time, whenever we count, we're not going to count again. So it's important to get everybody in and get it done.
Okay. Well, Jim, very good thoughts, and I appreciate you being on the show today. And so if you want to get involved again with the Bella Vista City Council, when are those meetings?
We have a work session on the third Monday of the month at 5:30 upstairs. Well, it's actually over town, over at Village Center over there by
Okay.
Duffers. And then the fourth Monday at 6:30 over in the council chambers again over by Duffers.
Okay.
So work session, third, real meeting on the 4th.
Okay. And we'll take a break and we'll be back with our next guest.
You're watching The City. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Here's Damon and his guest.
And we had a good topic of discussion with Mr. Wozniak, but we have someone new here today. This is Mr. Joseph Bollinger. He is the new Justice of the Peace elect for the eastern part of Benton County, or Bella Vista. And so basically wanted to invite Joseph on today to talk about, he was on the campaign trail going door to door, meeting a lot of people. And so I know that there's some stories that he has to tell. And so good to have you with us today, Joseph.
Boy, do I have some stories from that campaign trail.
And I know I've got some other friends that were campaigning also during that time.
Yeah.
That they said one thing after the election, after Super Tuesday, they said, the one thing I know I'm not going to do tomorrow is knock on any doors. So, but anyway, win, lose, or draw. But so your election only had the primary.
Yes.
There's two Republican candidates. There's no Democrat in the race, and that's kind of why I brought you on. After the election here, is so that you kind of tell us a little bit about what you encountered along there. Not so much politics today,
Sure, yeah.
but just you met some interesting people, I'm sure, along the way.
Absolutely.
So what did you? So you going door to door, and maybe give us one story about something interesting that happened to you.
Okay. And at first, I want to thank you for having me on today, and also want to say thank you to the people of Bella Vista for entrusting me with your votes. So I appreciate that thoroughly. So thank you for that. I'm humbled by your support with this last election. I was blown away with the amount of support that I received from this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for trusting me with this. And a good story, let's see, the very last day of campaigning, I almost got bit by a dog. That was fun. So a big, huge white, I'm not even sure what it was exactly, but this thing probably weighed a good 200 pounds at least. This massive dog. And I walk up and he was all fine. As soon as I knocked on the door, he started, he tried to get me. So
He thought you were lunch.
he thought I was lunch, exactly. Well, I think I thought, yeah, it would have been a late lunch, early dinner, but but I was able to calm him down. So, but then the people came out and all was well, and I think I got their vote, sympathy vote, maybe possibly at that point. But but that was a fun, and the whole time was, I know I talked to our state rep, Austin McCollum, and he told me, he was like, "Have you gotten bit by a dog yet?" And I was like, "No, that hasn't happened yet." And as it came close to the end of the election, it was kind of in the back of my mind. I was like, I haven't got bit by a dog yet. And sure enough, on the very last day, I was like, that figures. So I texted him and was like, well, it almost happened. Just dodged it though. So.
So yeah, I'm sure, and that's the thing. You just never know what you're going to be running into when you're going up and knocking on people's doors. But Bella Vista is still a very safe community.
Oh yes.
So a lot of people do not mind going and answering the door for people that are coming up.
Yeah.
We've heard though that the demographics of Bella Vista are changing. What did you find when you were out there on the campaign trail?
Absolutely. So before I decided to run, I actually did some analytics of the age differences between just all Bella Vista and just the surrounding area, and there's a staggering age difference between even the west side and east side of Bella Vista. On the west side, the average age is about 60, and on the east side, the average age is about 45. So you have a 15-year age difference just of that right there. A lot of younger folks are moving into the east side of Bella Vista. So that's something I noticed even while on the campaign trail. But I also will say that disproportionately, at least in the Republican primary, it was generally older people or older generation that would be voting in the primary. So one of my missions, and actually that's something especially really important to me, as the chair of the Young Republicans of Northwest Arkansas, it's a goal of mine to make sure that we get more young people involved in the political process, especially in the Republican side. As Ronald Reagan said, freedom is never more than one generation from being lost. If we don't pass it down the bloodstream, it's up to us to make sure that people are engaged, up to us to make sure we defend liberty and freedom. So that's very, very important to me. So like I said, as the chair of the Young Republicans of Northwest Arkansas, that's a very big deal to me. And so we meet up every month, and it's between 18 and 40. And if you're over the age of 40, we still have young at heart Republicans. So love to be able to have you come out for that. Just kind of little.
And you're not as young as what you appear, because because you have a wife and how many kids?
3 kids.
Three
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
So how old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay. So
Yes. So I'm very top of the Young Republicans. Yeah.
you're going to be aging out before long.
Yes. but I'm also still the youngest member of the Republican Committee.
Oh, okay.
So I'm an active member of the Republican Committee of Benton County, and I'm still the youngest member of that. So once again, very, very important to me to make sure we get more younger people involved in the political process.
So when you're talking about visiting the residents here in Bella Vista, what so like the concerns, the differences between the concerns that the ones that were younger versus the ones that were older, what were you hearing?
You know, I would say one thing that was very nice to hear, actually, I think everyone was pretty much concerted in what their beliefs and their concerns were. You know, the people out there voting in the Republican primary, they're all focused on lowering our taxes. We have some of the highest taxes in the country right now in Arkansas. People are focused on limited government. People want someone that actually represents them. And so, you know, people are so disenfranchised anymore. They think, oh, these politicians, they don't listen. They don't do this. And to me, it's really important to me to make sure I'm out there listening to the populace.
What were some of the positive comments that you heard? Because we have, of course, the Bella Vista is not short on people who actually praise this area of Arkansas.
Yeah.
What were some of those comments that you heard that were very positive?
Overwhelming people are very positive. Bella Vista, we're blessed with an amazing community of people. If you look at just social media or anything like that, or just the newspaper, all the time we have events going on, whether it's people going down the street picking up litter that happened over the weekend. There's another event that's happening in May where we're going down the highway picking up litter. We're just an incredible community of very active people. Actually, Bella Vista is known for its extremely high voter turnout. We have the highest in Northwest Arkansas, possibly Arkansas altogether. So very active community. People are very involved, and we have a fantastic place to live. We have low home prices. We have very good wages. We have fantastic businesses. And just look at the environment. We have all the trees, trails, everything, lakes, golfing, anything you could possibly want to do, your heart's desire. I would say Bella Vista is probably the best place in America to live, and being America's best country in the world, Bella Vista is the best place to live in the entire world. I can confidently say that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did very many people know what a justice of the peace actually did?
That means you can marry people, right?
That's right.
That's the number one thing I got. and the simple answer is no. Most people do not know what a justice of the peace does. And when people always say that, I would say, well, technically, yes, you can marry people. Most justices of the peace do not. And really, a goal of mine when I was out doing this was just to educate the people, because most people don't know what a justice of the peace does. And the best way I like to describe it is justice of the peace is kind of like city council, but for the county. So basically, it's just a legislative body for the county. The county judge would be, say, like the mayor, and the justices of the peace are like the city council. So we handle all the budget and for the road department. We have 3,600 miles of roads in Benton County. 1,700 miles of roads are handled by the county road department. We also have the court system. You know, everything from between district courts, circuit courts, all that. Right now, it's all focused in downtown Bentonville. And also, we have the sheriff's department, which is actually our largest line item on our budget.
Okay. Now, you brought up about the courts,
Yes.
because there is the discussion going on at the county for the quorum court, and that is over the funding of the courthouse, where to put all these things.
Yes.
Were the citizens, did they talk much about that?
They didn't generally bring it up to me because, once again, they didn't know that that's the role that justice of the peace had. But once I started talking to them, explaining my position, explaining my background, they started then realizing, oh yeah, okay, I have an opinion on this, and here they'd give me their thoughts on that after, sometimes I had to kind of pull it out of them a little bit, because a lot of times they just, like I said, they thought, oh, you can marry people. Why are you knocking on my door? Kind of thing. So it took some conversation, and there was a lot of those conversations like that. But yes, once I started talking to people, they definitely started engaging with me in that regard. And I would say overwhelmingly, people voted 63.7% against the sales tax increase back in March. I led that fight back then. That's kind of where I started beginning with my political foray was back when I led the fight against that sales tax increase back in March of last year. So yeah, I talked to people about that. That's kind of was my talking points. I led the fight to save us $25 million new taxes last year. So that was an important piece. I guess last year. Yeah, so that was an important piece of that puzzle for me. It was kind of it's important to me, and because once again, not to quote Ronald Reagan too much, a lot of people feel that it's not that people are taxed too little, it's just the government spends too much. And to me, I want to promote conservative solutions, fiscal conservative solutions, to make sure that our tax dollars are spent well.
Okay. And so another interesting story out there from knocking on doors. What did you find?
It's amazing that when you go talk to somebody, how much they just want someone to listen to them. They want politicians that are there engaged. They want someone that cares to listen to what they say. And they're also happy to have a Republican with principles. They want somebody that says, yes, you stand for strong Republican principles, such as lowering taxes, limited government. But not to mention you're a principled Republican, but you're actually fighting for us, someone that actually truly cares to listen to we the people. That's the reason why during the campaign I said I'm going to have monthly sit-downs with my constituents. I also plan on doing polling, things of that nature. I want to make sure that people's voices are heard. And to me, it's the backbone of my campaign, is doing what's best for the people. And it would be it started becoming a more common occurrence where I'd be talking to them and someone would be crying, saying, "Thank you. We needed this. We need somebody that listens to us." And there was a lot of disenfranchisement from the people, and I was on a mission to change that.
Okay. And so your election is over.
Yes.
When do you get sworn in?
January. Yes.
January 1st, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
stroke
At
after midnight?
Yep, after midnight. I may wait till the next day, but we'll see. I have a baby at home, and I'd love my family to be there, so I'll probably wait till the following day to make sure that way my family could be there for that. So
Okay.
it's going to be a special occasion for me, and I definitely want to make sure I can be fully embraced in that. So.
Okay. And I think that's all we have for you today, and I congratulate you on your win.
Thank you.
Again, you do not have a competitor in November, so your
Right.
election's over. Now you just get to ride out the rest of the
Yes.
year with your family.
Which I will say, which most Republicans that I've talked to kind of disagree with me on this, my stance on this. I actually legitimately feel bad that the people actually aren't going to have a choice in November, because I want an opportunity to earn everyone's votes. So I'm actually kind of disappointed by that. I love the process. I love the campaigning. I love listening to the people. So, if you didn't vote for me in the primary, love to hear from you. I want to hear what I can do to earn your vote. If you would have voted for the Democrat, reach out to me as well, because I want an opportunity to earn everyone's vote. I want to hear the voices of everybody, not the people just voted for me, but it's all about we the people. It's everybody. It's all of Bella Vista. It's all of District 7.
Okay.
Well, at least the east side of Bella Vista, I suppose.
The east side of Bella Vista. Okay. Well, Joseph, thank you for being here today, and want to encourage everyone to definitely get out, be involved in the political process, no matter which side of the aisle you're on.
Yes.
Our elected officials, we're so blessed here in our area that the elected officials we have want you to reach out to them. They want to know your thoughts on the different issues that do come up before them, whether it's at the state level, whether it's at the local level. So definitely do get involved. They want to hear from you. They want to hear what you have to say. So for this time, for the city, thank you. I'm Damon Wallace. Have a good day.
You've been watching The City from our studio in the highlands of Bella Vista. If you have topics you would like to see us explore, just let us know. Thank you for tuning in. This has been a production of Bella Vista Community Television.